My next question is kind of very interesting one, and I want to know आप क्या बोलते हैं इसके बारे में. Sustainability and urbanization,
Right.
these global challenges, इसको आर्किटेक्ट इंडस्ट्री में इवन एजुकेशन में कैसे स्टूडेंट्स जो है वो अडेप्ट करें.
आपने बहुत ही पर्टिनेंट और टॉपिकल क्वेश्चन पूछा है. आई थिंक and this is not just for students, I think generally across the board,
Yeah.
uh, we need to start seeing uh, problems or issues like these in a global context, because you will find that maybe the solutions for my problem here in, say, England, in my backyard, lies somewhere else. आपको छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. सस्टेनेबिलिटी में जैसे environmental sustainability है, there's a lot of pressure on water as a resource. And आपको शायद ध्यान होगा कि एशिया में, इंडिया पाकिस्तान में, इस रीजन में, स्पेशली डेजर्ट एरियाज में जहाँ पानी की स्केर्सिटी होती थी, अभी भी है, वहाँ पे देयर वाज दिस ब्यूटीफुल कॉन्सेप्ट कॉल्ड अ स्टेप वेल. स्टेप वेल का अगर आपको इल्म हो, ध्यान हो कि वो क्या होता है, इट्स बेसिकली सच अ मैग्निफिसेंट स्ट्रक्चर. बट हमारे एंसेस्टर्स ने 14, 15, 16 सेंचुरी से ये रियलाइज़ कर लिया कि पानी लेकर आना, just going and collecting water, that simple mundane act of going and collecting water should be celebrated. And see how beautifully they saw sustainability was that they said this is not just an environmental issue, it's a social issue as well. So they said, let's make this like a festival. Let's make this like an evening social milling about. So what people would do, ladies or gents or whatever, stepwell was something like, imagine you're going down into Mother Earth. And many stepwells are so elaborate that you could go down like 6, 7, 8, 9 stories, that deep. वहाँ जाके आपने करना क्या था, सिर्फ पानी इकट्ठा करना था. But during that journey, which was probably 10, 15, 20 minutes, you were maybe going with your friends, or you were having a chance encounter. जिसको talking to people, asking about, oh, how are you doing, एक दूसरे का हालचाल पूछना या कुछ करना. And very simple task, you're just going and collecting water and bringing it back to your home. But that well-being, that social well-being was happening, that sense of community, that sense of belonging, वो bonding create हो रहा है. So I think models of sustainability can be learned and as precedents brought in from far off places and applied in another context also. So we could have, for what I'm saying is, we could have local problems, but the solutions could be globally.
Global, yeah.
अब फॉर इंस्टेंस यूके में जैसे climate change है, we are all talking about climate change, that sea water level is rising. Yeah, that's rising. Now, what is the solution to that? We can't always be like on the east coast, Lincolnshire and in England, we find a lot of villages and towns losing their land to coastal erosion. It's a real problem. And but can we question and challenge ourselves कि क्या ज़मीन पे ही हमेशा बिल्डिंग बनानी है? And then suddenly you realize, oh, in Indonesia, there are some water communities who have been living on water for generations. Now then you say, oh, look at Holland, in the Dutch. The Dutch engineers are fabulous. There is a practice called float. And they've been living, the way they deal with water, their relationship with water is again very different. So you can design buildings that can go as the high tide comes, the building structure can float up, can settle down. So suddenly you are looking at different parts of the world, getting inspired, bringing that good practice back home and seeing, can we try that here in England? Rather than always creating flood defenses and barriers and trying to mitigate, can we work with Mother Nature? So sustainability is something which I think needs to be seen with that broader prism.
Yeah.
Where in the world, especially looking back into time and history, can we bring those, better models to work with? Which is very fascinating. For urbanization, look at Middle East. Look at KSA. Look at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Look at Dubai. Absolutely, brilliant models of urbanization, and they are miles ahead in terms of their thought process, in terms of trying to design cities which are looking at hydrogen, as a fuel. They're looking at hyperloop. They're looking at connectivity, vertical cities. So I think urbanization is going, leaps and bounds, very very fast.
Yeah.
So very interesting time for anybody, an aspiring architect or an urban designer, or somebody who wants to work in this field of
Yeah.
construction and technology. That there is a lot of work coming. So yeah, lots of jobs.